Who was crazier, them or me? Hey, hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron, and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. So, Mad Max, a game that has got people debating. Is it a good game or not? Is it a quality product or not? Because the reviews are all over the place. A great deal of popular critics have been scoring the game like 6s and 5s out of 10, while user reviews from outlets such as Steam do nothing but praise the game and give it nothing but 8s and 9s out of 10. There is some that debate Mad Max is just open world game, the open world game. Other people claim this is the Mad Max video game we've always wanted. And here's what I gotta say. I know a quality product when I see one. I know a work of love when I see one. I know a game that's worth my money when I see one. And Mad Max is one such game. While I understand some of the criticisms deployed at Mad Max, a few being objective, others being very subjective. Before I get to the actual objective faults of Mad Max, because Mad Max is not a perfect game, there is no perfect video game, and it does have its faults. However, Mad Max has been accused of being a game that's too repetitive, unoriginal, copy-paste. First, the repetitive accusation. All video games are repetitive! I'm so tired of game critics picking and choosing what video games are repetitive and which ones aren't. Stop lying. Stop fooling yourselves. All video games are repetitive. Your precious Witcher 3, repetitive. Your precious Metal Gear Solid 5, repetitive. The upcoming Fallout 4, it's gonna be repetitive, because all video games are repetitive. You can't escape repetition. Repetition is a part of life, it's a part of movies, it's a part of video games, it's a part of novels, it's a part of all literature and media. Repetition is how the world works. It's not going anywhere. So I'm so tired of people using repetition as a criticism. It can't be a criticism. You can't use repetition as a criticism, unless it's Pokemon. Because in Pokemon, you're literally doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again. But hey, that's just me. For every other video game, you can't claim repetition. Oh, I can see the comments right now. Hypocrite! Next criticism of Mad Max? Unoriginal. And you know what? Unoriginality is in the same boat as repetition. Everything is unoriginal because everything has been done before. Once again, you can lie to yourself and say, no, originality still exists. Video games can still be original. No, they can't. They really can't. Even when virtual reality hits the market, gets bigger and becomes mainstream, even virtual reality is going to be unoriginal. It is unoriginal already. It's been done before. Granted, not to the extent and not to the technological prowess of virtual reality nowadays. Still, unoriginal. Everything's been done before. Originality is non-existent now. So you can't accuse Mad Max of being unoriginal when Witcher 3 is unoriginal, Metal Gear Solid 5 is unoriginal, and the upcoming Fallout 4 is gonna be unoriginal. Now, final accusation thrown at Mad Max is that it copy-pastes many mechanics and features and elements from other open world games, such as hubs and safe zones, outposts filled with enemies that you need to clear, a high vantage point you need to reach in order to reveal more of the map. Stuff we've seen in other open world video games, mostly Ubisoft open world video games. You know, Far Cry, Assassin's Creed. But here's the thing, there's nothing actually wrong with those features and mechanics. And these features and mechanics make sense in an open world, in the environment these features and mechanics are taking place in. Oh, so other games have done stuff like that before, and Mad Max is doing the same thing as those other games. Kind of like how The Witcher 3 does a lot of things similar to other games, or how Metal Gear Solid 5 does a lot of things similar to other games, or how Fallout 4 is going to do a lot of things similar to other games, eh? Look, I'm sorry, but if these features and mechanics were perfectly fine in other open world video games, there is no reason for them to just magically transform into a negative for being in another game. But then again, these are all subjective complaints. These are all subjective negatives about Mad Max that people have been claiming as objective fact, when that's simply not true. I really wish critics would stop using words such as unoriginal, repetitive, copy-paste. When everything is unoriginal, everything is repetitive. And unless you're just copy-pasting the same game over and over again but giving it a different paint job, Call of Duty, then there's no problem with it. At least, in my eyes, I know there are people out there that will debate this, and I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with your opinion, but there's nothing wrong with mine either. I'm just sharing my opinion, just as you share yours. Now then, Mad Max, although being a quality product, which I will say right now, Mad Max is a quality product. It, for me, is a good game. I like the game. But it has its share of flaws. There are bugs in the game. Some of them, game-breaking. Granted, I have not encountered these game-breaking bugs, but I have seen and heard from other people who are experiencing them. Save files getting corrupted, the map not opening, freezing, crashing. And while I have encountered a few freezes and one crash, I thankfully have not encountered any of those other game-breaking bugs. But there are also little bugs in the game that just take you out of the experience, such as items, vehicles, and characters just popping in and out of existence, major clipping when performing certain animations, and this weird flashing that happens in cutscenes sometimes. Those are actual objective problems with those games. Those bugs, while some of them have been tended to, a lot of others have not yet been fixed. And the game has been out for a while now. You would think they would be fixed by now. I'm just saying, Avalanche Studios, Warner Brothers, you gotta get on this shit. Especially the game-breaking bugs. Now there are other objective flaws with Mad Max. One of which being, there is no difficulty selection. Mad Max pulls a Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor and has this completely, randomly, procedurally generated difficulty, where depending upon how you upgrade your character and your car, depending upon what area of the map you're in, will determine the difficulty. Which is silly. I'm sorry, but there's no reason for Mad Max not to have an easy, normal, hard, or even very hard difficulty modes. It doesn't force players to play in a difficulty they're not comfortable with, and it gives the game more replayability. So I find that an actual fault with the game that there is no difficulty selection. Now another objective flaw is, problems with the story. There are issues with the story of Mad Max. Now we all know the Mad Max universe, the Mad Max franchise, it doesn't tell normal stories. Its stories are a bit odd, yet simple, yet complicated. However, there are moments in the story where there's a lack of character development for certain characters. Some characters are more well developed than others. The game relies on bios to tell characters' backstories and explain their motivations when that is something that should happen in cutscenes in the game. These bios, these character bios, give you a description and backstory of all these characters, but you rarely get to see it in the actual cutscenes when you're interacting with these characters, and quite honestly, that's a flaw. Don't give me paragraph upon paragraph of character biography and backstory, telling me their life story and their motivations, and then not show that in the actual story. However, I don't want you guys to think that I'm just shitting on Mad Max, because actually, I love this game. I love Mad Max. It's a great game, a quality product. Like I said, it's not perfect. It has some issues, like those issues I talked about, but it's still a good game. It's got a shit ton of content. It is worth every penny of its asking price. There is so much to do and see, a humongous open world to explore and enjoy the beautiful visuals. God, the game has beautiful visuals, beautiful graphics, great lighting, great textures, great shadows, great particle effects with the dust and sand. Melee ground combat is a beautiful throwback to old school beat-em-up games with hints of Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor and Batman Arkham combat, where you're performing light attacks, heavy attacks, counters, and picking up melee weapons, as well as building up combos, pulling off finisher moves. The combat, the ground combat, the melee combat is a ton of fun. Then we have car combat, which is also a blast, with cars ramming into one another, flipping over, driving, speeding, shooting explosives at one another. Car combat is crazy and wacky fun, just like most of the car combat in the Mad Max movies. Speaking of which, Mad Max is so incredibly loyal to the movies. It's insane how loyal this game is to the movies, with references and quotes and Easter eggs everywhere. If you love Mad Max, you will adore this game for how respectful and loyal it is to the Mad Max franchise. But yeah, that's Mad Max. Is it a quality product? Yes, undeniably so. Is it a game for everyone? Is everyone gonna like it? Hell no! But maybe give it a try and see which party you're in. Anyways, that's been a video. Please leave a comment. What do you think about Mad Max? What do you think about this video? Leave your thoughts, feelings, and opinions in the comment section below. I rarely get any comments. I love reading comments. Please leave a comment. If you like the video in any way, shape, or form, please hit the like button. Hitting the like button helps you, helps me, helps everybody involved with the video if you hit the like button. And finally, I am the Gamertron. I love video games and I love talking about video games, and if that's something that interests you, maybe consider supporting my channel by subscribing to me. Anyways guys, that's been a video, and I will see you guys later.